Hi, Energic family, Energic Malaysia member, and also Energic Global distributor. Now, for those who don't know me, my name is David Chang, and I'm actually the product trainer for the emGuarde, Energic emGuarde product. Okay, so now Simon did a great job in terms of explaining the product and roughly to give you a rough idea on what the new emGuarde can do. So I'm going to take this opportunity to give you some new updates about this new emGuarde as well, and some of the latest research and papers that we have on this new emGuarde. So first of all, let me just show you, okay, what I have here is the emGuarde. All right, I'm going to explain to you from point to point some of the product walkthrough and what does this LED means. All right, before I dive into my slides. So again, to activate the emGuarde, you have to press this button over here. This is the start button. Hold it for about 3 seconds to activate the emGuarde. Okay, so once the emGuarde is activated, the top bar here, which is the LED bar, represents the battery lifespan bar. Okay, and this E logo here represents that this emGuarde is working fine. Means it's channeling the harmonics to harmonize the environment. Okay, so after 10 seconds, the battery bar here will disappear, and this function it's built to actually conserve the battery so that the battery will last longer. Okay, so this E logo here, which is this blue light here, represents that the emGuarde is working perfectly fine. All right, now in order for you to check the battery, all you need to do is to do a one-touch button here, and it will actually reactivate this battery indication bar to show you that the battery is fully charged. All right, now let me share my slides. Okay. If anyone here can see my slide, I would like you to just type in 1 on the chat box to make sure that you are seeing the
I can't
slide.
see here, David.
All
Okay,
right,
all right. Got it, got it.
got it? Good. All right. So I'm going to just do a product walkthrough on the OI book as well. Now, as you know that this new emGuarde has got a protective range of about 3 meters. So when we talk about 3 meters, if you look at this 3D explanation, so it's 1.5 meter radius, and in total, if you put the emGuarde in the middle, so it covers up to about 3 meter in radius. All right. Now with the new looping antenna technology, the protection, which is the harmonics bubble, it's in a more stable form, and it is meant for you to bring around. Means when you put the emGuarde in a pocket, you can actually move around with the emGuarde, and the protection bubble is going to be stable. All right, in this form. So I wanted to imagine that, this whole thing is like a boomerang. All right, the harmonics travel up to 1.5 meter in radius, and it returns as well as a boomerang as well. So it's going to create this very stable protection bubble, for the users. Okay, so earlier on, I was explaining about the start power button, all right, at the bottom of the emGuarde, and of course, the battery bar. So there are 4 indications on the battery bar. So the designers actually designed a 4-level LED, segmentization on this battery bar itself. So when the blue light goes all the way to the top, it simply means that the battery is fully charged, it's 100%. Okay, and when the LED drops to the second bar, means the battery is left with 75%. All right, so when it drops to half, means the battery is 50%, and when it drops to the last LED bulb, it simply means that your emGuarde is on 25% or lesser battery, capacity. Now, whenever the emGuarde it's below 10%, which is the battery, the E logo here is going to show you red color. Means it's going to turn from blue LED into a red LED. Okay, so this represents that your emGuarde is left with below 10% battery, and usually, below 10% means you can still use it, but for about 2 hours only. So when you see the red LED means it's time to charge your emGuarde. Okay? Now, in terms of charging, this new emGuarde, it is powered by a universal Type-C charging port. All right? It is similar port with most of the Android phone and the latest iPhone as well. So it's using a universal Type-C to C charging port. All right? So you're advisable to use the provided C to C cable provided in the emGuarde box. All right, and of course, if let's say you forgot about the cable, you can also use the standard Type-C cable for charging your phone, you can still use that to charge the emGuarde. There's no issue. Okay, and when it comes to the types of adapter, of course, when your adapter is using a 2 ampere and above amperage capacity, the emGuarde will be charged in less than 4 hours. Okay, approximately 3.5 to 4 hours, it will be fully charged by then. Now, some Apple adapters are way below 2 ampere. They are between 1 ampere to about 1.5 ampere. And if that is your adapter, then it may take longer to charge your emGuarde. Okay, it's going to take about 6 to 7 hours before the emGuarde is fully charged. So usually our advice is just leave your emGuarde overnight. Okay, you sleep, you charge it. Next morning when you wake up, your emGuarde will be fully charged by then. All right. Now, please note that there is a additional point on point number 4 from my slide. Now, if the surrounding temperature is between 5 to 15 degrees Celsius, which very unlikely in Malaysia, all right, very unlikely in Malaysia. So this unit will go back to a normal charge mode, means it's going to take you about 6 to 7 hours to charge the emGuarde. And when the temperature goes below 5 degrees Celsius, so for example, let's say you're traveling to Western countries or to the northern part or southern part of the hemisphere, and during winter time, the temperature might drop to below 5 degrees Celsius. Now this unit is going to stop charging. All right, it happens to some of the phone as well. The battery is going to go dead if, let's say, you're using the phone in a minus 20 degrees Celsius environment. All right, so this is a standard practice. Now, number 5, a full charge allows this device to operate continuously for at least 2 days. And early on in Simon's slide, we are talking about 72 hours, okay, which is approximately 3 days. All right, so Enagic, being a Japanese company, they are trying to be very conservative. All right, they say at least 2 days. So for the matter of fact, when the emGuarde is new, you can use it for about 3 days with one full charge. All right, anything beyond 3 days is a bonus. Okay. Now I'm going to just touch a bit about the certifications for this new emGuarde EM002. We have actually obtained all of this compliance certificate to make sure that this emGuarde can be marketed globally, including the US market and all across Europe and Australia as well. Okay, so we have got the electrical safety certifications, the EMC, RF compliance, from FCC and all, environmental compliance, which is Roche, and also the energy efficiency as well. So we'll be uploading all these certificates on the emGuarde to the World Facebook page for you to download and for you to include all this into your marketing slides for your emGuarde business presentation. Okay, so these are all the certificates for the new emGuarde, compliance and ready to be sold in global stage. Okay, you got all this. So you can go through all these certificates during your free time. Now, the next topic I'm going to touch here, it's the emGuarde demo 2. Now, earlier on, I was looking into the chat box and I realized that a lot of people, they're asking this question. Can we use the old demonstration tool to do demo with this new emGuarde? The answer is yes. All right, the answer is yes. But the new demo tool that Simon just showed you, which is the EMD 100, it is a far more superior demo tool to be used during your new emGuarde demo. Let me explain to you why. Now, this new tool is actually inspired by Dr. Magda Harvard's research when she talks about electrosmog, which is the electromagnetic pollution. So there's reason why this new tool is named EMD 100, which is Electrosmog Detector 100. And 100 simply represents the AEI scale from 1 to 100. Okay? Now, this whole thing is able to detect and pinpoint electrosmog intensity from all electromagnetic radiation sources, able to detect the emGuarde's protective range. So there's a button later on, I'll explain to you that this new detector is able to confirm the coverage, distance, and range as well. Now there's a built-in buzzer to indicate different intensity level. Okay. Now powered by standard AA battery, this is something which is an upgrade because the older detectors is using the old 9V battery, the square one. And we've gotten information that in Europe, the governments in Europe, they are going to discontinue the square battery, which is a 9V battery. So the engineering team is changing it to a AA standard battery so they can use this worldwide. All right, and this thing is handy, it's portable, it's easy to use, and even a grandmother knows how to operate. Only install the battery and there's just one stop button. All right, it's very Simple and straightforward. Now, AEI scale. So the AEI scale simply means, this is a proprietary index, means this index, it's solely owned by the emGuarde developer. All right? They have actually created this index because in this new detector, they have combined the older technology from the detection method, which is the RD series, and also the SDR detectors that we used to introduce to the market. So now they actually put these two together to form this new detection method called the AEI scale. All right. So in this detection method, there's a formula that they use. First of all, they use weighted RF noise. Now, weighted RF noise simply means targeted RF noise. Means it is not the whole spectrum, but they select a few targeted spectrum that they believe these are the ranges which is affecting our human bodies the most. Okay, that's the reason why they use weighted RF noise. Now, the second formula they use is harmonic disturbance. Harmonic disturbance simply means, radiation leakages or energies that can be detected from all electrical appliances. Okay, and of course, they combine the third formula. We call it the field variabilities. So this simply means that the whole detection range is actually within a variable field of between 3 megahertz to 1000 megahertz. All right, and this particular field variabilities is actually similar to the predecessor detectors that we used to use called the RD 9300. All right, because that detector's detection range is also within 3 to 1000 megahertz, which is a range which deemed affects the human body the most when it comes to radiation. Okay, now this new detector again comes with a very simple, colorful scale, all right, to show you the severity of the pollution. So when you go into a space, for example, let's say you go to a forest or a lakeside, when the pollution of the electrosmog is lesser, it's going to show you green color. All right. Now, once you point the detector to a more stronger radiation sources, of course, the detector is going to change to yellow, and eventually it's going to show you orange, which represents high, and red being very high, means the pollution is at the highest level. Okay. Now, please, very important note at the bottom, please note that this ambient electrosmog index, the AEI, is a proprietary index or formula, and it is not intended for any medical or regulatory use. So please do not link this AEI scale or the colorful bar into, like for example, ailments, or this is going to cause cancer. No, we don't say that. All right. All these are medical claims, and these are false claims. We can't say that. All right. So please take note that this AEI scale is not intended to be interpreted into any medical or regulatory use. All right, this is very important. This is only a simple visual aid for the market to understand the pollution level of the electrosmog radiation. All right. So now I'm going to show you a quick video, and in this video I'm going to compare two different scenarios. When the EMD 100 is in a cleaner environment versus a more polluted environment. Okay, let's play the video. So as you can see from the video itself, the AEI scale comes with a very colorful LED, and it scales, it's actually based on the direction, it's the pinpoint direction. So when you place this detector against an electrosmog sources, it's going to escalate from green to orange or red in this case. All right, now next, I'm going to explain the second function of this wonderful detector. Now, why do we call this a proprietary detector? Because this detector is able to also detect the patented harmonics technology from the emGuarde. Now, please understand that the emGuarde technology is not something that you can buy from Harvey Norman's or any common electrical store, because this harmonic technology is proprietary, it is private, unique to Energic itself. So it is patented at the same time, and no one else in the world has got the same technology as the Energic emGuarde. And because of that, the developer needs to design something that is able to detect its own proprietary patented harmonics technology. And because of that, a harmonic indicator is formed. So at the top of this detector, above the AEI scale, there's this circle LED bar. And this bar only shows you two types of LED lights, okay? So before you turn on the emGuarde technology, of course, this LED is going to show you red. And red means unharmonized. It's that simple. It means there's no emGuarde technology around you, and you are actually living within Electrosmog without protection from the emGuarde. It's that simple, okay? And in the common demonstration, it is exactly like how you do the Kangen water demo. There is a before and after test, all right? It's like the pH tester. So before you pour in the Kangen water, the water is going to show you acidic. Once you pour in the Kangen water, it's going to turn alkaline, blue color. Same goes to this detector. Before the emGuarde, it's going to show you red harmonic indicator. It's going to show you red color. But once you turn on the emGuarde, it's going to show you green. And green represents harmonize. Means this particular area, all right, that you are living in now is actually being covered by the patented harmonics technology by the emGuarde. It is very simple, all right, just red and green. All right, very straightforward, simple for the market to actually understand rather than, those days we used to go through a more difficult explanation by showing people, the microwatts of the radiation, or even using a more sophisticated tool, to tune into this third-party SDR software and stuff like that. And to be honest, for the past 2.5 years, we've been receiving feedbacks from the market that, these tools are unfriendly. And in fact, a lot of people, they do not know how to operate or how to, install the tools from the phone. And hence, this become a big hiccup, for the emGuarde business. And because of that, we hear you, we feedback to the developer, and there you go, a much more simpler tool for your global duplication purposes. Okay? Now, let me play a quick video to show you how the harmonic indicator works. It's very straightforward. Okay, let's play the video. So let me just go back to the last picture here. Let me just pause. Now, if you notice, the before and after testing is as simple as you dropping a pH tester into a drink and just to pour the Kangen water to show before and after test. It's so simple. Okay, so when you turn on the emGuarde, or when the emGuarde patented harmonics technology is present in the environment, it's going to turn the harmonic indicator into green color. And of course, you can actually see that the AEI bar, which is the AEI scale, is turning itself from red to about yellow or green in certain area. Okay, now this particular reduction is actually based on the actual SDR targeted suppression physiologies or terminology. All right, it is actually based on the SDR's targeted suppression theory. All right, that you can actually see that there's an improvement, and hence here comes a correction from the AEI scale as well. Okay, now, so this is actually a complete spec of the detector. It's using a 3 AA battery, and these are, the weight as well, and also the broadband sensitivity. And of course, last but not least, this detector is also certified by CE, so it's fit for Europe market. It is also certified by FCC, which is the compliance from America. And of course, take a look at the third logo. It's called the SGS US and also Canadian marking. This is the North American mark, which represents that this detector has actually obtained the approval in terms of compliance testing based on the UL and the Canadians as CSA standard. So this detector is good for you to, be exported and be carried out around the world, including the North American market. Okay? So now, our team has actually created this EMD Electrosmog 100 detector handbook. And you don't have to recreate all this, because in this QR code, when you scan in, this whole handbook is going to pack with all the information that I've just shared with you. And we have actually included 16 of the most commonly asked questions, FAQs, and with answers as well. Okay, so to ease your duplication process, all you need to do is to download this handbook and just send it to your downlines. Okay, they themselves, they can read. We have got everything in the handbook, all right, to make it easier for you to duplicate your business. Okay, so now last but not least, before I end my presentation and pass this session back to Simon to talk about the commissions, now I'm going to just dive deeply a little bit more about this new research did by Dr. Te. Now, just in case those of you who are not realizing how big this is, now basically a PhD holder, it's taking the emGuarde technology into a human-based testing. All right, this is not the white rat testing, happen in the no. This is actually actual human-based testing. So what this professor did is she actually interviewed about 115 humans, male and female, and out of 115 people, she picked about 37 participants whom they believe that they are actually diagnosed with these EHS symptoms, which is electro hypersensitivity syndrome. And out from the 37 participants, Dr. Te actually put them into tests. She gave them the emGuarde to be carried around for about 3 days. And after that, she take a before and after blood test to determine some of the biomarkers and improvements that she, discovered during the test as well. Now, I'm proud to actually announce that this particular research and test will soon be published in one of the publications, like PubMed and stuff like that, all right? They're working on it so that in the near future, when you type in Google and when you search emGuarde's technology research, you'll be able to find articles and research papers regarding to the emGuarde on the PubMed itself. All right, I believe the research team are working on it, and I'm very proud to actually present this to you as well. So Simon has already covered the results, all right? So I'm going to end this training by showing you a short edited documentary film throughout this test and how Dr. Te is going to present the results and also the conclusion from this intervention as well. Let's take a look at the video. And this video will be made available for you to download for your marketing purposes. And we're going to post this up to the Facebook channel as well. Okay, so let's go to the video. So we're going to post up some of these research sheets that she did, back in the university. Everything is very scientific. You can read it for yourself. All right, so these are all the testings they did, and everything it's very scientific. Okay, so let's take a look at this short documentations before I pass the screen back to Simon Low. How's the volume? If you can watch the video clearly, please type in 1 in the chat box.
I'm the Deputy Dean for the Faculty of Science from the Department of Allied Health Science. I'm teaching for biomedical and also didactic students. So for this project, we are looking into the electromagnetic hypersensitivity syndrome. In short, I will call this as EHS. And we're looking into a portable device, which is named as emGuarde, to look into the protective effect over the self-achieved EHS participant. In this project, the participants will carry the device for 3 days, and before and after they carry the device, we look into the live blood morphology, observing any roulette formation. Other than that, we will take out the plasma to look into the oxidative marker, including the heat shock protein marker and also the histamine marker, and we look into the allergic marker, such as the malolitide marker, and also we are looking into the neural marker, which is serotonin marker.
What motivated your research team to explore the relationship between electromagnetic radiation exposure and rouleau formation in the blood?
The usage of the electronic devices is getting more increasing after the pandemic of the COVID-19. So, and just up to your information, Malaysia are being ranked as the third most of having a highest screen time globally and also worldwide. So by exposing too much of this electromagnetic field, it will be leading to have the change over the blood morphology. So that will hence lead to the villus formation. So once the villus formation is formed inside the bloodstream, it will be causing the delivery of the oxygen transport will be getting lacking, and it will be also affect the microvascular circulation. And once this microvascular circulation get affected, it might lead to have a lot of the sign and symptom, which is not specific sign and symptom, in leading to have this EHS, electromagnetic hypersensitivity syndrome.
Why is rouleau formation considered an important biomarker when evaluating the body's response to external environmental factors?
I would like to address is, rather than talking on rouleau formation is the is a biomarker, I would say that this is a preliminary physiological indicator to indicate that someone is overexposure to certain electromagnetic field. Our normal red cells do have the negative charges surrounding the red cells. So, and once exposing too much of this electromagnetic field, it can be causing all those charges to be reduced, and the repellent forces will get reduced, then all the red cells will be aggregate and stacking each other, in leading to have the formation of the rouleau formation. All the red cells to get aggregate and will start over the circulation, and may affect the microvascular flow, and this may actually causing the blood to get disturbance over the normal blood flow. We conducted an international study to assess how the body responds to everyday electromagnetic environments, and whether that response can be positively supported with the protection of emGuarde technology. Within just a 3-day observation period, 70.3% of participants reported noticeable improvement in their symptoms. We also observed a 50.7% reduction in blood cell aggregation, which is significant as it supports smoother blood flow, improved microcirculation, and more efficient delivery of oxygen and nutrients at the cellular level. In addition, there was a 59.5% increase in serotonin level, supporting better mood, sleep, and cognitive function.
Okay, so now when you guys hear about your customers talking about, they're having this wonderful effects after they use the emGuarde technology, like, some of them, they say they sleep better or they sleep like a baby when they turn the emGuarde for the first night. So now scientifically, there is an explanation, and it is more powerful because it's coming from a PhD holder rather than me, myself, as a product trainer. Okay, so I'm very excited because this is going to be a game changer, and this research itself, this whole video is going to help you to build your emGuarde business and also to show more credibilities to your prospects, all right, in your upcoming Enagic emGuarde presentation. Okay, so with that, I'm going to pass this session back to Simon. I thank you all for your kind attention. I hope that this, this whole training is going to give you more boosts, or more materials, okay, for you to use for your marketing initiatives. All right, back to you, Simon.